All right, so hopefully you guys are seeing this live right now, but Restream is acting kind of crazy. Um, so we might move to a different platform next week. But I pay these guys $40 a month for this, and this is ridiculous. So
So what you're saying is it's not reliable and it's inconsistent.
I don't know, man. It reminds me of some professional sports teams in Charlotte. Uh,
Oh man,
but hey, one of those. So here's, I mean, the God honest truth. I wasn't even gonna do the show if the Panthers lost. I was gonna be like, you know what, fuck it. Um, but they pulled off a win. They pulled off a win, in a game that they played pretty well in a team that was better than them. Now they did get a little
Kyle,
bit.
what's up, man?
They did get a little bit fortunate because they could not stop James Conner. He was unstoppable, and unfortunately, or fortunately for us, the Cardinals leaned on him a little bit too much. He ended up injuring his knee, left in the third quarter, and did not return. The Panthers played well on offense, played well enough on defense, really could have put the game away in regulation. An iffy play call, and what I thought was an iffy play call, and some just, mistimed execution allowed the Cardinals to take it into overtime and a field goal. But good defense and better off running Chuba Hubbard. Who would have thought that that's how you win the game, right? You run your best guy and he wins the game. That's what you should have done at the end of the
Man,
regular.
what a concept, huh? Man,
Yeah, amazing how like. Oh, that's kind of crazy. You're up 10 points in the fourth quarter. Run your guy, right? So I mean, I digress. We won, yes, and beating the Card ever since the 2016 playoffs. Man, I mean, Panthers Cardinals has always been fun for us. Fun for us.
man, I got one better. Ever since Jake Delhomme imploded in that playoff game, seems like
Man,
ever since then we just own these dudes for some reason.
6 interceptions that game. I don't know.
Five picks, one fumble, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that's what it was. So, but hey, we got to win. And more importantly than the win, because I mean, I wouldn't have been too mad at a Panthers loss because we want the draft pick position, but they looked like a competent NFL team. I mean, on both sides of the ball. Yes, I know the Cardinals scored 30 points, but considering how bad the defense has been all season, and considering Kyler Murray and James Conner are going to be a tough matchup. Marvin Harrison Jr. is not a terrible rookie. I thought the defense, particularly the secondary, played well, but the offense was very surprising. Bryce Young looked like a really good quarterback. We were all wrong about Bryce Young. I guess everyone was wrong. Whether you said he was good or bad or whatever, we're all wrong. Bryce Young is our guy. He's the guy, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it looked like everyone loved playing with him too. So,
Yeah.
Leggett did not play today due to injury, but the tight end stepped up. Coker stepped up. Tommy Tremble, Adam Thielen, of course, probably the only consistent thing on the Panthers roster. Like I thought it was a good game. I just think the late game play calling and decisions were kind of iffy. But Canales is a rookie coach. He's gonna make those kind of mistakes. So
Yeah. Um, I echo a lot of the same sentiments, man. I love the fact that we just look like a functioning NFL team. I thought the defense, they made plays when they needed to make plays. Late in the game, Mike Jackson made some plays in the fourth quarter. They kind of not kind of, but they put away the game. We got a late sack. Josie Jewell came on the blitz to get a late sack to put away the game. So again, the defense to me wasn't perfect, and they still got a ways to go before I can really believe in them. They played well in spots, but you can't give up 7.8 yards a carry to both James Conner and Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray scored way too easily on that last touchdown, man. So again, man, I'm happy that they made plays when they needed to. I hate to say this, but to me it rings true. The Cardinals kind of just bailed us out in the first half, man. The Cardinals just kind of imploded on penalties and missed throws and missed plays, but we were able to take advantage of it. So I'll give them credit for that, man.
It was a trap game for them. They thought.
Well, it can't be a trap game because they were fighting for their playoff lives, man.
They were, but I think they thought, okay, yeah, we win this game. We're still in the hunt. It's the Carolina Panthers, right?
Yeah.
And they were undisciplined. That's how a team is not taking you seriously. They were just undisciplined. All those silly penalties. They essentially gave Carolina a 7-0 lead, and they really couldn't. They could never overcome that. So
I don't know if you noticed or heard of Mark Schlereth during the broadcast. Somewhere in there, he was saying he was talking to a player, and the player was like, we're just ready to get out of here. Like, to me, that kind of just rings like, the hell with this game. We'll walk through it and we'll win anyway. You know what I mean? So
I picked the Cardinals to win. I did state that it's really tough for West Coast teams to come to the East Coast and play, right?
Yeah.
3.5 time difference. And I think the Cardinals came here a little early to try and mitigate that. But yeah, when your team's like, hey, I'm just ready to go home, they're not serious.
Yeah, and to me, if I'm the Cardinals coach, man, I'd be pissed, man. I like that. This is not the time to have that attitude. You got to be. You are paid professionals, man. You got to take every team seriously.
Like they're saying, this is a playoff game for them.
Right.
You got to win. If you don't win, then the season is essentially over.
Yeah.
Willie, I thought this watching the game, and I said, man, I'm gonna go on the show today and give a hot take that the Panthers are gonna be good next season. But I just don't want to set myself up for that disappointment. But I think that they're going to surprise a lot of people next season. They're going to come out of nowhere and be better than expected. I think they have a lot to build on the offensive side of the ball. And I agree. I think they should go defense in the draft and, start building on that side of the ball as well.
I kind of feel the same way, man. I mean, it's hard to not see the improvement from week to week with this team the last 5 or 6 weeks, other than last Sunday, which I still can't explain that one. But it's hard to not see the improvement, man. And it's very clear where they need to make the improvements, which is the front seven. If they make those improvements, man, I think this team can win it. I'll go fire take. I think the team can win the division if the front seven gets their act together next year. Yeah, I said it. Yes, I think the Carolina Panthers can win the division next year if they fix the front seven and stop being so absolutely horrible in stopping the run.
Yeah.
In the history of this team, man, it is almost unheard of for the Panthers to not have a defense that can't stop the run, man. Like, yeah, it's not our identity.
Yeah, generally it's been the second. Even when the Panthers were good, the secondary was always the weak link. The Panthers prided themselves on stopping the run, and at one time they had, I don't know if it was an NFL record, but they had like the longest streak almost in history of games without allowing a 100-yard rusher.
Right.
That was like they prided themselves on that. Now that's like, James Conner is a great running back, but you got it. They were afraid. Like, I just feel like you can't stop the run. You're gonna have to pick your poison, right? You either stack the box and let Kyler Murray beat you, or you play coverage and you tell your front seven to get at it. I mean, obviously that wasn't working. James Conner was just doing whatever he wanted to do when he had the ball in his hands. I was kind of like, man, just see if Kyler Murray can beat you, and if he does, I would rather live with that. So, all
right. So Willie's telling me to put my brakes. I'm gonna tell you why I will not, because I've seen this before with not the Panthers in particular, but with NFL teams who have one big hole to really fix, and once they fix that hole, they took off. I just think the Carolina Panthers are there. Let's keep in mind Derek Brown's coming back next year. I think that's going to be big. I think the young pieces we do have on defense, I think they're going to improve. I think there's just one or two free agent signings and a couple of draft picks away from being a good defense. Because again, this defense, they can make stops when they need to, but it's just not consistent, and they can't stop the run. It's like when you have an NFL defense, the foundation of that defense is what? The trenches, the front four, stopping that run. That's the foundation. They get that right. The secondary becomes better. The linebacker's job becomes easier. I'm telling you, man, they fix that hole and they can really take off. I feel very good about that. I really do.
Yeah, you've got to make the other team one-dimensional. That's how you win in the NFL. You take away. That's how I think about Bill Belichick and those Patriots teams. They were always good defensive teams, even though they were known because they had Tom Brady, but they were great defensive teams because they would say, okay, what is it that you do really well? Okay, you're not going to do that. You might do something else and beat us, but that you're not going to do, right?
And remember that Baltimore Ravens defense when they won the Super Bowl that year. That the same thing. The same thing. You can do something else, but you won't run on us.
Yep. Yeah. 2015-16 Panthers. Same. Hey, you're not going to run. You're going to have to take your chances in the air against us. That's what this team needs to do. They gotta stop the run.
And Willie, let me answer this for you too, man. I'm a big proponent of getting away from that 3-4. I hate it. I've always hated it. I've never been a fan of the 3-4. I think with Derek Brown, I think with him in particular, even though he performed very well in the 3-4, don't get me wrong, but I think with him and Ashawn Robinson, man, you go 4-3 with those two, man, and
the best defenses in the history of the NFL have all been 4-3 or some variation of 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers, 4-3 in the nickel coverages with 4 down linemen. I think the 3-4. The reason that coordinators like the 3-4 is because it's more uncommon. So it's harder to game plan against. And if you have the right personnel, boy, you can really disrupt some offenses with the 3-4. But that's the thing. You got to have the right personnel.
Personnel do it. You can't run a 3-4 with Shy Toto as the anchor. I'm sorry. You can't do it. Not going to work, man.
Yeah. And, we had Frankie Louvu and Brian Burns, great for running 3-4. They're gone now. I mean, we're just not built for it. And I think you do a better job of stopping the run with the 4-3 than the 3-4 because, now you're relying on your second level to kind of be your first level as well. Your 4 linebackers have to also play the pass and the run, whereas in a 4-3, they're just there to support the 4 down linemen that are, going to stop the run. So, I've never been a big fan of the 3-4 unless you got the people for it, and I don't think we have the people for it. And I'd like to see it that way. In fact, I was wondering this during the game: is your Rivera? I mean, do we want him back this season? Next season?
My answer may surprise you. I think he's going to get one more season just because of the injuries he had to deal with, man. I think he can use that as an out. Now, does that excuse some of the head scratching play calling we've seen late in games? It does not. That does not do him any favors, okay? But I think with him losing so much on defense due to injury, they're probably going to give him another shot, at least one more season. Yeah. That's my guess, I would say. Now, do I want him back? I mean, that just depends on the replacement, man. That's kind of my answer, man.
True. I mean, we need to call Steve Wilkes. What's he doing? I was thinking this during the game, Drell, like Thielen. I mean, boy, it'd be nice to have if he can give us one more year.
Yeah, man.
But he's at the he's certainly on the downslope of his career, and he'd be a great veteran presence, and he'd be nice to have around to kind of help with guys like Leggett and Coker, and but I don't know. The Panthers would probably have to overpay a little bit to get one more year out of him, I think. Especially after a season like this. Does he even want to come back and give up his body again? for what is surely to be a losing season, just to help the Carolina Panthers continue to develop Bryce Young in the receiver core. I would imagine he would say, okay, I'll do that, but it's going to cost. And is that something the Panthers want to do?
Yeah, I want to kind of tackle Swag's question about Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter. If they're both available, which one are we taking? That is one of those questions where I'm glad I'm not Dan Morgan, because that is a very hard choice to make, in my opinion. Now, Abdul Carter is what we need a lot more. I will say that much. I will say strongly, we probably need Abdul Carter a lot more. But I'm going to go back to that example me and Kaiser always tell y'all. I remember we needed a defensive lineman more than we needed a linebacker, but Luke Kuechly was standing right there. You know what I mean? Look how that turned out. I say that to say Travis Hunter is really good. That's what I'm going to say.
Really good, but I mean, what's the two most important positions in football?
Yeah, man.
Quarterback, defensive end.
Edge rusher.
You got an elite level pass rusher, DE, right there. You need that. See, here's the thing. It wouldn't be a reach to get Abdul Carter, right? Everyone would be happy with that pick. It's just, I guess it comes down to how good do you think Travis Hunter is going to be? Now, first of all, he's not going to do the Iron Man stuff in the NFL. Just not possible at that level to play both sides of the ball. So the Panthers would probably, if they went Travis Hunter, would probably draft him as a defensive back, and he'd be a very good defensive back. I think he fit in very well. But would he be as impactful as a defensive back for the Carolina Panthers as Abdul Carter would be as a defensive end for the Carolina Panthers? I don't think so, actually. I don't think so. I think Travis Hunter is probably a better wide receiver in the NFL. But what do I know? I'm just a guy with a podcast. I don't.
And I will say this is something that just to kind of I'll throw this out there. This is kind of a deep draft when it comes to edge rushers. And so if the Panthers decide, hey, we'll take a flyer on Travis Hunter, it's not to say one of those edge rushers won't drop to the second round, quite honestly. So
you let Brian Burns go for essentially nothing. This is a chance to recoup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I still feel like edge rushers is the way to go. And honestly, Travis Hunter probably won't even be there. This win severely hurts the Panthers draft position. I don't know. Yeah, Travis Hunter and Jason and Horn would be a very good. I mean, you put Mike Jackson in the slot too. Nickel.
That's a hell of a secondary, man.
A really good second, man. That'd be a really good secondary. I don't know, man. Yeah, Dan Morgan, you're gonna have to earn your money.
Yeah, man. You got some tough decisions to make this offseason, buddy. Absolutely.
Let's talk about Bryce Young some.
Yeah.
This might be his best game. It's not stat wise, and I feel like
we said it every week.
That's true, man. He looks so like just like cool and confident, and he made some outstanding throws. I mean,
he made some really good throws.
So there was a big question about his accuracy. I don't think that's a question.
I never understood that, honestly, man. Yeah.
I don't. I mean, he put the ball exactly where it needed to be on some of those. And against the blitz, oh my God, it was like.
I mean, hell, the first play of the game, Thielen just dropped it.
Thielen just dropped it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Bryce Young is going to be Mahomes, and we said this years ago. Whoever the Panthers draft got to be, the next guy. I don't know if he's going to be that level, but I think we found our quarterback, right? I don't think there should be any debate or any concern about the Carolina Panthers at quarterback. The haters have been quiet for like 2 months now. His height doesn't even seem to be an issue anymore, does it?
Yeah, man. Hadn't seen a lot of C.J. Stroud post in the Panthers group lately, man.
Yeah. I think Canales, I'm not saying Canales watches under construction because he surely does not. But one of the things that he has to do is he's got to change the offense to work for Bryce Young instead of the other way around.
Right.
Okay, Bryce Young short, you can't see over the offensive line, so you create vision lanes for him. That's what's happening. Notice how Bryce is moving around the pocket. He's not just a statue back there. Now, sometimes he'll take a shot back there if he needs to, but I think the fact that the defense is afraid of Bryce scrambling and he can keep them honest is helping. So far, I like the offensive play calling. I do wish they used Chuba a little bit more in clutch situations. I mean, he had 25 carries, but I feel like the fourth quarter they went away from him too much. Like,
and then they got to overtime and realized, you know what, this guy's pretty good. Let's give it to him again.
Yeah. Like I still feel like it was a bad call on 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. You need a first or 3rd and 3. A first down essentially wins the game. Right. Your running back, they're not able to stop him. The defense is tired. Why are you throwing a little hitch route for? And granted, Dave Canales is probably like, that's an elementary school play, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't complete it. He threw it too early. Now clock stops. Arizona gets to keep a timeout, and that timeout allowed them to put the game into overtime. Because if there didn't any timeouts, the game clock would have run out, and that would have been a game. Would have won by 3. And I thought, man, why not just run the ball? Even if you don't get it, okay, Arizona then has to burn a timeout. I just did not like that. Did not like that play call. So
I mean, I'll give Canales some grace because it reminds me of the Ron Rivera era, the early Ron Rivera years. You know what I mean? Where we were questioning some of his late game play calls and some of his game plan issues, man. So I'll definitely give Canales some grace in regards to that. First year coach, man. Those issues will correct itself moving forward.
I kind of thought this too, Willie Smith. Like, Canales, even though he's come out and said, okay, Bryce is our guy moving forward.
Right.
It wasn't like an enthusiastic stamp, right?
Right.
And I think maybe he is, trying to, he made a very important move early in the season that may have saved his job in starting Andy Dalton, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the only reason Bryce Young came back into the lineup is because Andy Dalton got injured.
Right.
So that wasn't even like a decision that he had to make. If Andy Dalton had gotten injured, Dalton would probably still be the starter. So I don't think he's like, I agree. He just doesn't seem like he's really embraced Bryce Young is our guy. He's our guy. And I am not,
Here's why I hope. Here's what I hope he's trying to do. I hope he's trying to kind of instill in Bryce, you still got to work. No, this job ain't yours. Yeah, we know you're the number 1 pick, but guess what, man? You still got to work to keep this job. And I hope that's what Canales is trying to do. I definitely don't want to get to an offseason where we're questioning whether we want to move on from Bryce or get it free. God, that is like the last thing I want to see this offseason. I don't think we're going that route. But I do think Canales is still trying to put a bit of pressure on Bryce to kind of string together some consistency. You know what I mean? Just basically trying to make him better. I mean, again, outside of last week, Bryce has shown that he can be a star in this league. He can make plays. He can make the throws. But at the same time, it's not his yet, so to speak, as far as Canales is concerned. I just hope that's the case. I don't want any more quarterback controversies, man.
Yeah, man, I don't think there should be going into next season. I think that would be a bad look on him, actually, if there was.
Yeah.
We've gotten exactly what we want out of Bryce Young this season, right? He started poorly. He got benched. He came back, and he looks better than he looked before, right? This is what we want. Continue to build on that. I mean, and let's not forget, Bryce is not Dave's guy. He's not the kind of quarterback Dave Canales has coached in the past. Presumably, he doesn't like to coach that kind of quarterback. But,
Yeah.
Bryce is winning games. So, all right. Let's go MVPs. Who's your offensive MVP? I mean, I think that's
offensive MVP. That's obvious. It's Hubbard. I mean, Chuba Hubbard. Yeah, man. Chuba Hubbard just he iced the game to close it out, man. 25 carries for 152 yards. I mean,
man.
Yeah, man. Workhorse, averaging over 6 yards a carry. Yeah, easy choice, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Also caught my fault. I mean to cut you off, man, but I forget, man. The one very encouraging thing that I saw about Chuba today was he caught 4 passes out the backfield. I don't know if y'all remember, man. That used to be a real struggle for him his rookie and second season, man, where he had trouble kind of catching balls out of the backfield. So he got 4 today, so that's a really good sign as well, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be Chuba. Yeah, I mean the numbers speak for themselves. Ice is the game in overtime. I mean, it was a redemption game for him. After the fumble, not last week, the week previous to that. So, Also, I'm gonna give a shout out, like co-MVP maybe to the wide receiver core as a whole.
Right.
Like none of them were spectacular, but they made the plays that they were supposed to make. Except Adam Thielen had that drop. Otherwise, I mean, they were getting open. I've always wondered, like, why can't our guys get open for years? Like, damn, our guys cannot get open. They were getting open, and Bryce was finding them, and they had some great catches. The 2 touchdown catches, from Thielen and Moore were pretty incredible.
Yeah, great throws on that Moore catch.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out to the receiver core, man. I mean, the offense. Okay, maybe we were wrong about Dave Canales.
Yeah, and look, with that being said, Kaz, I still got to agree with Austin, man. Like, I still don't think we have that just number one change your whole defense type of guy. You know what I mean? Leggett remains to be seen, but I still don't think we have that guy. So I could imagine what we would look like with a strong number one threat, man.
I really want to see if Leggett makes a leap next season, right?
Absolutely.
Potential is there, I feel like. He just got to get coached up.
Yeah.
Defensive MVP. This is a tougher one.
I'm gonna cheat because I'm actually gonna go the secondary for the defensive MVP. You just didn't really hear Marvin Harrison caught 4 balls for only 39 yards. I'll take that every day. You know what I mean? I think Mike Jackson made some very big plays in fourth quarter and overtime. You didn't hear J.C. Horn's name, which we always say that's a great thing if you don't hear a cornerback's name all game. So I'm really just gonna go the secondary for the MVP, man. I just don't have one guy I think made a big difference, but I thought the secondary really played a great game for us today. Yeah,
Michael Jackson had 2 passes defended and 5 solo tackles. I mean, they were like targeting him because they don't want to throw to Horn, and he week after week he continues to look good and make plays. I mean, I really like. I don't know where Dan Morgan found him, but I'm hoping he sticks around.
I will say, man, shout out to some guy named Jacoby Windman. I don't know where he came from today, but 8 tackles and a sack. Maybe I should change my pick, man, because I don't know the guy, man.
I don't. Yeah, Ashawn Robinson looked real good too. A big sack on Kyler Murray, clutch play. The defense. The defense is the defense, right? But they did a really good offense. Like I said at the beginning of the show, they were very fortunate that James Conner got injured. But I remember thinking, especially right before the half, it was clear that the Cardinals were like, okay, we're just going to – James Conner is going to get the ball every play.
Yeah.
Either pass or run. We're going to Christian McCaffrey this guy. And I remember thinking, as a Panthers fan, like, y'all might be overusing him. And sure enough,
deja vu.
So, all right. The Panthers next week play a division game.
Is that Atlanta next week?
Nope, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay next week in Tampa.
This was the last home game, right, against Arizona.
Yeah.
By the way, having said that, didn't feel good to hear like Panthers fans cheering.
Kazi, you stole my thunder, man. It was so good to just watch a game without just annoying bandwagon ass fans from other teams just invade. It was so nice to watch a normal Panthers game today, man.
It was like
God,
I was like they were like cheering. I was like, they cheering for us at a home game? Wow. Crazy. Then I remember it was the last home game of the season. So so send everyone home happy.
Yeah, we not to expect Cardinals fans to fly 3,000 miles to come see that team. So yeah.
So they play in Tampa. This is a big game for Tampa. In fact, these next two games, Tampa and Atlanta. Tampa is one game ahead of Atlanta, and I believe they hold the tiebreaker for them for the division, right?
Yeah.
So both of these teams, Tampa needs to beat us, and Atlanta needs to beat us, right?
Yep.
Tampa almost shit the bed against us a few weeks ago, and ended up pulling it out in overtime. And Bryce Young had like 298 yards. Bryce was cooking that game, right?
Yeah, right.
So this game is not a gimme for Tampa, and it being a division game. The last game was close. I don't know how to call this one, honestly.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking about this game. I guess this is kind of a lazy take because I was going to say I'm kind of expecting the same thing from the last time we played them, but I want my team to prove me wrong. I'm going to pick Tampa Bay to win, but I really want the Panthers to prove me wrong, especially in one area. I know we're week 16 into this thing now, and I just hope the defense finally says, you know what, man, we're getting tired of people just running on us anytime they feel like it, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. Tampa Bay had a ton of success running the ball against us the last time. If they can fix that, they can win the game. I'm still going to pick Tampa to win only because they're fighting for the playoff lives. We still struggle to stop the run. I think it'll be very similar to last time. But I want to put a big asterisk. I hope my team proves me wrong next week.
Yeah, plus Tampa's going to come in with a lot of momentum. You know, they started the season very shaky. They're on a 4-game winning streak. Probably will be 5 because they'll probably beat Dallas tonight. In Dallas, by the way, Dallas has been officially eliminated from the playoffs with the Commanders win earlier today. So
that's great.
To all of the Charlotte Cowboys fans.
You officially have nothing to play for, so shut up.
Yep, be quiet. So
congratulations on your 11th pick in the draft, Pumps.
I'm going to begrudgingly pick Tampa to win another close one. I don't think it'll go to overtime, but it's gonna be close. It's gonna be like 30-27, something like that. Yeah, that's my pick. So
Willie, real quick, man. I said they didn't show the game in Fayetteville. That's crazy, man. And I had a friend tell me something similar. He was basically saying Fayetteville's Eastern North Carolina, right? And he was, I think, like Eastern Carolina may be more of a Commanders market than the Panthers are, which is crazy to me, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, but it's still disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it is being a.
That is, man.
Speaking of how it is.
God. Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness, man. This team.
Y'all already know. The Hornets actually played a game full strength for the first time in forever.
Almost full strength.
Nearly full strength.
Yeah.
But it don't matter because they lost. They lost to a team that should beat. Right now they're on a 4-game. All right, so actually the Hornets are 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1 and 12 in the last 13 games. Their last win coming against Indiana. Their last win before that, November 21st, almost a whole month, they beat Detroit in overtime.
Detroit, who's better than us right now, which is
Why
disgusting.
does this team suck so bad? Yeah, the 4 seed is out of the question. Right now, play-in's out of the question. They're the worst team in the East. We are fit with the loss to Washington, which is unacceptable. You had LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges, and you couldn't beat damn much.
Kaiser, you know the only good thing about us talking about the Hornets today. You know the one good thing we have with the Hornets. There's a lot to talk about, and maybe people feel like there's not, but there is, because we got to figure out why the hell this team is so bad. Man, before I get into any real basketball analytics talk, I had a friend of mine tell me, he was like, first game of the season when we had that comeback win against the Rockets, and I had a buddy of mine like, hey man, it's gonna be different, man. You can already see the culture change already, man. I told him, I said, look, man, slow down. I know this team, I know this franchise. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong, and here we are again, and again, and again.
Let me tell you some things that I was told. I was told these things.
Me too. I was told the same thing. I already know what you're going to say.
I'm going to list them off. First, I was told that when Jordan sold the team,
everything's going to be all right. That was it.
New owners, new owners, that is going to be totally different.
Yeah, they had that money to spend, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah. I was also told that Charles Lee was going to make a difference.
It looks exactly the same.
Let me tell you about Charles Lee. I love how he coaches the players. Right? He seems like a player coach. They respond to him. He's not an X's and O's guy. He is not. This offense is absolutely terrible. And we can say all day, we can talk about chemistry. We can talk about injuries. They just bad on offense. They're just bad.
It's like Rucker Park.
Yeah, and they're better on defense, but I think coaching defense is a lot about being a player coach. Coaching your guys up, telling them to, because we know that defense is mostly effort, whereas offense is a lot of X's and O's, finding your spots, being in the right position, taking the smart shots, blah, 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 blah. I do not see any improvement in the team. In fact, they seem worse than ever. I want to remind everyone that James Borrego, the season he got fired, the Hornets were the number 3 offense in the league with a worse roster. The roster is not as good as the one they have now, right? Injuries are damned. So Charles Lee got to do something offensive. I mean,
here's my take on that, man. I'm a piggyback off what you said. This is a perfect alley-oop. Thank you. Charles Lee comes from where? The Boston Celtics.
Right, yeah.
Boston Celtics are known for what? Spacing the floor, shooting a million threes a game. Yeah. And if you shoot 100 threes a game and 30 of them go in, they think, hey, with those numbers, we'll probably win, right?
Right.
Charles Lee is essentially trying to do the same thing with the Charlotte Hornets. But guess what, guys? Here's some breaking news for you. We don't have a Jason Tatum. We don't have a Jaylen Brown.
No.
We don't have a Derek White. We don't have Peyton Pritchard. All these highly efficient three-point shooters. Let me highlight that word for y'all real quick. Efficient. This team is the total opposite of efficient.
Well,
all right.
I think they tried to, with the roster, tried to get as close to that as all right, because they got guys who can shoot the three.
They can.
You got LaMelo Ball. You got
Brandon Miller.
You got Cody Martin. Miles Bridges, although he hasn't shot it that well this season.
Right.
But he's about league average.
Right.
You got Seth Curry.
Yep. Trey Mann. All these guys can shoot, right?
Yeah, but they don't space the floor well. They don't.
So here's where y'all gonna get mad at me today. Yep, y'all gonna go ahead and get mad at me today. This is why I tried to tell y'all to ease up on Mr. Steve Clifford last year. Let me tell y'all why. I know y'all gonna get mad. Y'all be all right, whatever. This is what I'm gonna tell y'all. This is what I'm gonna tell y'all why we were way too hard on Steve Clifford last year. Because you know what the difference Steve Clifford had between now and this year? Discipline and organization. Now, offense was a lot more organized. They were a lot more disciplined. They didn't turn the ball over like they're doing this year. I don't know what the hell has gotten into them with these turnovers this year. It is a way less efficient offense. And like I said, the offense just kind of looks like, okay, we're just going to give it to LaMelo and just let him do whatever. Now, we love LaMelo. He's super talented. Instinctually, he's amazing, okay? I get all that. But this is NBA on a professional level. You can't win consistently like that. And these dudes are jacking up 53s a game. I think they need to cut that back to maybe 35 and just kind of mix it up a little more. And just become.
I see them pass up a high percentage shot to take a bad three. It's like, first of all, LaMelo Ball is really good around the basket. Right? He's almost unguardable when he decides to put the ball on the floor and go to the basket. He makes these insane, almost circuit shots, right?
Guys, let me cut you off and piggyback on that real quick. This disgusting game against the Wizards. This is a perfect example of what you're talking about. LaMelo Ball was 2 for 40 from 3, whatever it was, right? And in the fourth quarter, he decided, let me take the ball to the basket a little more and shoot this little mid-range floater that almost got them back into the game, right? It's almost like, hey, I've missed 15 threes. Let me go to the basket a little more. Wow, what a concept, right?
They shot 8 for 43 from 3 in that game.
Come on, man.
You will never win. And they allowed the Wizards to shoot 40%, 17 for 42. I mean, you will never win a game in the NBA doing that. This feels like this was the Hornets before Borrego. Remember that when they used to jack up a lot of threes and then give up a lot of threes?
Yep.
Would you say that's giving him the keys? Oh, LaMelo, he got the keys. He got the garage. He got
my man got the lean. He got the he got the title to the car.
Yeah, this is so while we're on that topic, before LaMelo's injury that sidelined him a few games, there was a lot of trade rumor. I'm not even going to call it rumor. It was internet junk. Man, the Lakers do right. All right. Then he got and that went away. Now he's back. And then now we're seeing these talks again, right?
Right.
We have stated on the show that no matter what, you cannot trade LaMelo Ball.
Right.
Ever. You just cannot. I don't care if his leg hanging off by a tendon. You cannot trade LaMelo Ball.
Yep.
He'll go somewhere else, put up 35, 8 and 8, and then people will say, "Show the Hornets culture, right?"
Same old Hornets. Yep.
Having said that, the Hornets got to do something. They got to do something, and LaMelo Ball is the crux of that.
Right. They got to shake something up, man. Because we're man. We could talk. We're what, year 4 into LaMelo? This is LaMelo's 4th season. It's going to be year 5. Like, we're supposed to be in the playoffs competing by year 5. If everything was supposed to go as planned with LaMelo's timeline, by the time we're in year 5, man, dude, we're supposed to be in the picture somewhere. That's what's supposed to happen, and we're far off right now. To still be the one of the bottom feeders in the East, that's not acceptable, man. Nah. And listen, man, last year I gave this team a lot of grace because of the injuries, because they matter, because there's no way any NBA team can win consistently when your starters basically don't play together. You understand what I mean? And this season, man, like, they're still dealing with injuries, but the optics look bad when you got Mark Williams and LaMelo Ball sitting on the bench for injury management. What is that telling the fans? Come on, man.
I guess maybe somebody grease some palms and okay, you guys can have Cooper Flag. All right.
Grease some palms.
It would be our luck that we get Cooper Flag and he ends up not being as good as we think he'll be
What's going to happen is we'll get the number 4 pick. That's what's going to happen. That's Charlotte Hornets luck right there.
I mean, also, why is Josh Green? That's just how I'm crazy about.
Why is he him?
Why is he? What is he doing? What is? I don't get it. He's averaging, 7 points per game. He's shooting well from 3, but he doesn't actually shoot that many threes a game. Okay, he's a good defender. He's 6'5".
Yeah. But that answers the question. That's why he's on the floor, for that reason.
We don't know. Purpose. That is not what we need.
Because here's the thing. I'm gonna say this again, man. Him and Cody Martin are just redundant.
Exactly. And
why do you don't need both of them on one team? I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, I mean, okay, 3D guys are valuable in this league, but like as starters. It's like
yeah, man. Kaza, speaking of that, here's one thing that I came to a realization against the Wizards, man. I came to a big realization, and fans out there may say, "Ah, man, you didn't realize that," but here it goes. When the Wizards went to their bench, they have Malcolm Brogdon and Jonas Valanciunas coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Now, how they managed to still be 4-22 at this point, I don't know. I don't follow the Wizards. But here's what I'm getting at. The Hornets don't have a Malcolm Brogdon and Jonas Valanciunas coming off the bench. Nope. So what I'm getting at is this roster just ain't as deep as we want to think it is sometimes, man. It's really not. To have a former All-Star and a fringe All-Star come off the bench would be a luxury for us.
Yeah.
And more importantly, and I'll wrap this point up, more importantly, man, we don't have enough experience and veteran leadership who actually plays on the floor, not just the guy just on the bench yelling at, not a Taj Gibson. The next step the Hornets need to take is getting guys who are getting our Malcolm Brogdons and getting our Jonas Valanciunas off the bench. That's the next step the Hornets need to take.
Absolutely. We still don't know if Salon, what kind of player he'll be. I like him. I think I see the potential.
Yeah.
But we got, guys off the bench. So Trey Man been a pleasant surprise. I hate that he's injured, but essentially he's our bench, right?
Yeah, and we have to remember Trey Man and Grant Williams have Grant Williams out for the year. Trey Man basically been out all year. We got to remember that.
Losing Grant Williams was a bigger loss than anyone realizes or wants to admit.
I think so. I think so. Right? Yeah.
What is Nick Smith Jr. doing?
Because let's bring this point up for the 2500th time, man. Hopefully this season will finally be the season the Hornets say, all right, man, this is enough of this log jam at 2 guard. Three of y'all got to go at least.
So here's the thing. Like, the Hornets are 7-21. Their only hope right now is to make the play-in, right? And even that
it kind of seems impossible.
Yeah, it's not looking good, right?
Right.
So, do you make a move at the trade deadline, or do you just let things ride out?
When you're this bad, you don't make a move at the trade deadline. And I know a lot of people may disagree. But the thing is, there's nothing wrong with adding more talent through a lottery pick. That just is what it is, especially in this draft.
Yeah.
I know. Listen, fans, I get it. We are sick and tired of talking about draft picks. We are sick and tired of talking about building through the draft. But you just don't make a panic trade right now. You just don't. Like, for this team to go out and make a quote-unquote Al Jefferson type of trade, it does nothing, man. I'm sorry. I ride this thing out one more year. Again, go get Dylan Harper, Cooper Flag, or whoever, and you go from there. I just don't think making some kind of panic move is the way to go this year. I just don't.
There's something I want to talk about also. Miles Bridges.
What's wrong with him? What's wrong with the boy, man?
Now he's averaging 16 and 6 on 41% shooting. Those are not the numbers that you want to see from Miles Bridges, right?
Right.
Like, we expected him to be closer to the 20 points per game, on maybe 45% shooting, because he looked like he was going to be that kind of player.
Right.
I'm going to go back to Charles Lee not being an X's and O's guy. I think that the issue is the offensive scheme or whatever they're running is not fit. It doesn't fit Miles Bridges. He looks so out of place. Yeah. He looks like a fish out of water. You're playing with your guy LaMelo. We're not seeing Airbnb. We're not seeing. There's a lot of people like, well, these guys need to get their chemistry. I mean, LaMelo and Miles are best friends. How much more chemistry do they need?
They don't get that excuse.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening there, but they got to get Miles Bridges has to be the Miles Bridges, right? He's got to be the guy, even though he might not be an elite NBA player. I think at one point he was very, very close to being
fringe all-star.
Yeah, fringe all-star.
Yeah,
I don't think that's gonna happen. But they got to do something. They got to do something, and I think he's kind of the key to a lot of this. I don't know. That's very disappointing. Miles Bridges' season so far is very disappointing to me, and
I'll tell you what, man. I'll offer some thought on that, man. I think one thing that kind of hurts Miles Bridges is the ascension of Brandon Miller.
Yeah,
Brandon Miller's definitely taking some shots away from Miles Bridges. Trey Mann is definitely taking some shots away from Miles Bridges. I think that is a really big issue on top of what you've already spoke of. I think that's also a big issue too. And, and let's not forget, man, he's also coming off another guy who's coming off an injury. I think it was probably more serious than we thought it was, man. So maybe he's got to work himself back into shape too, man. So it's I think there's a lot going on with Miles Bridges and a lot of this team, quite honestly. But yeah,
I don't. He might be mad about his contract, but I don't think he's like playing. I don't think he's out there like sandbagging or not giving 100%. I think he's genuinely lost. He doesn't know his place in this new scheme. The James Borrego scheme was very high-paced, high-flying. It really fit his style of play.
It gave everybody opportunity to score.
Yeah. And Clifford actually, although he was more defensive-minded, he didn't deviate from that too much because Clifford's smart enough to know that like a drastic change wouldn't have been good for the team, and there were a lot of injuries. But I think whatever Charles Lee has implemented is more. I think Charles Lee wants a lot of 3-point shots, but he wants it in a half-court style offense instead of a transition-based offense like with James Borrego. James Borrego was like, we're going to fly down court as fast as we can. We're going to either shoot the three or we're going to go to the basket and dunk on somebody. That was essentially the Hornets offense, and it worked well. I mean, number 3 offense in the league.
Except when they got to the play-in, but yeah.
There's that. But they gotta do something offensively, and maybe I'd hate to see Miles Bridges go, but maybe he is a trade piece that you do want to look at, right?
Guys, I don't even think maybe. I think if this team was looking to make a splash, I think he'd be the number 1 trade piece because who else? And I only say that because he's probably the only one that's going to give you any type of return. Like, what you going to get for Josh Green? What you going to get for Cody Martin? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think like if you package like Miles and Josh Green up, you could get some. Plus, it clears up this situation in our front court where there is some debate amongst Hornets fans about whether Miles should be playing the 3 or the 4. Brandon Miller is the 3. Miles Bridges is the 4. I think a lot of people would like to see Miles at the 3, Brandon at the 2. I mean, look, you trade Miles Bridges, you don't have to worry about that, right?
Right.
So, and there are a lot of teams that would love Miles Bridges, and they probably look at the Hornets and like, they ain't using that guy right? This guy averaged 20 points a game a season ago. He can dunk on anyone in the league. We'll take him. So, a trade. The only thing is that his contract is relatively new, right? I mean, year on it. If he was near the end of his contract, he'd be more desirable trade target. So, I don't know. They got to figure that out, man. And who knows how long Brandon Miller's going to be out? He's not playing Monday against the Rockets. It's just a mess this season, man. I just,
again. It's always something, man.
So here's the Hornets schedule. We'll go until New Year because you guys might not see us next weekend. So let's see. They play Houston tomorrow. Then they have a 3-day break. I hate those long breaks. Well, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm sorry, Tuesday and Wednesday they have off. And then they travel to Washington. And then they play Oklahoma City on NBA TV game on the 28th. And then they play Chicago on the 30th. So they'll play Monday. They get Christmas Eve and Christmas off, and then they immediately go to Washington. They play Ja Morant on Saturday, and then next Monday they play Chicago. By the way, they have lost to all of those teams. Yep. Well, they will not play Oklahoma City. But they've lost to Chicago and Washington. They beat Houston the first game of the season, which we said would be a tone-setting game. By the way, Houston is 18-9 now. So I don't know. I mean,
I know. I do.
All those games are winnable. They can win all those games.
Yeah, they can lose all of them too.
They can lose. They can easily go 0-4. Well, I don't think Oklahoma City is a winnable game. I don't think they don't have the Thunder. Yeah.
No, we haven't even kept it competitive against the Thunder lately. So I tell you what, man, we lose to the Rockets. I think the reason why we lose to I'm sorry, I don't do this very often, but let me brag on myself real quick. I told y'all the last time we recorded, I told y'all we would lose to the Sixers because Tyrese Maxey had not had a good game yet. And what does Tyrese Maxey do? He goes for 40 first game and 38 the first game and damn near 40 the next game. I told y'all. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the reason the Rockets will beat us is because Fred VanVleet had a terrible game the first game. He won't have a terrible game tomorrow. So that is the reason why the Rockets will beat us tomorrow. So we lose to the Rockets. I'm going to say this, and I know I'm probably going to regret saying this. Y'all better not lose to the damn Wizards 2 times. You damn it, beat the damn Wizards. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care who out. Beat the damn Wizards. I'm going to cautiously pick us to win that game. Probably going to regret it, but whatever. Pick us to beat the Wizards. Other than that, it's just going to be L City from there on out, man. So.
Oh, man,
look, one thing, shout out to the Hornets for keeping it competitive, at least, against the Sixers with Embiid. I'm just happy we kept that game close.
Yeah, somewhat. But Misha actually played a decent game. Go figure. Yeah. You know what bothered me about that game? 2 things. One, Miles Bridges played like crap, right?
Yep.
And the whole injury management thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like they said, well, the Sixers are better than us anyway.
Anyway, we're going to lose anyway. Why risk injury?
That reeks to me. That just reeks like tanking, right?
Listen, man, I'm someone, especially at this stage of LaMelo's time with Charlotte, especially in this stage of the Hornets losing so much. I get so sick of the tanking talk. But then when you see that, you can't defend it. There's nothing I can say to really say, maybe they're not. No. That looks like Tank Commander is full force right now.
Hornets. I'm not gonna say they go 0-4. I think they win one of these.
Yeah, the Wizards, maybe. I'll say that.
Yeah, they'll probably get some get back.
Yeah.
I think they could go 3-1. Who knows with these? Well, first of all, who's gonna play? We don't know.
That's the first question we should be asking. Who's in, who's out, and who's going out?
Right.
Never know.
What if they play? How many minutes? I mean, Mark Williams has only been averaging about 16 minutes a game since he's come back. So
yeah. I don't know when I don't know when he's gonna get over this little trial period, man. But I'm ready for him to play his real minutes. So
yes. All right. Shout outs.
Oh man, shout outs. Oh man, shout out to the UNCC 49ers who hired a new football coach. I wish I could say I'm hopeful, but I think it's just really hard to build a program like UNC Charlotte through no fault of their own, man. It's just college football is a crazy, crazy world to try to navigate through these days. And to be successful is just not a very easy thing. But shout out to the 49ers for at least attempting to do so. That I can't think of anything off the top of my head, man. Shout out to everybody enjoying the holidays with their family, man. Just be safe out there. People are crazy. People can't drive for shit on 77. People are desperate. So just please be safe out there when you're navigating through these Christmas streets. Oh, I would love to know what John Gruden did. I'm sure he did something stupid, but I'm not aware of it.
Talking about the story he told a story about Sebastian Janikowski playing drunk.
No. Oh.
Yeah, Charlotte fans do have a fan only meeting. I mean, they're not gonna meet at the games because they don't go to those. So.
I could have went today, by the way. I was like, oh man, 39 degrees? Hell no. Absolutely not.
Gruden picked against us today. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, Gruden has a job somewhere?
Apparently so.
Never mind. Never mind.
All right. Shout out. And I'm really, Jamal, I'm disappointed in you, man.
Did something slip by me?
Ricky Henderson passed away.
Oh, God forgive me, man. I'm tired. I'm sorry.
Who's your favorite Major League Baseball team?
Okay, rewind. No shout out or at closing remarks. Yes, closing remarks to Ricky Henderson. Rest in peace, Ricky Henderson. So I have to tell this mini story. I'll be very quick. I promise I won't be long-winded. But when my family first moved to Charlotte, North Carolina in 1988, the following season in 1989, the first baseball I ever watched was the Oakland A's and San Francisco Giants. I grew to be a very big Oakland A's fan. Ricky Henderson was my father's favorite player. Ricky Henderson famously, however you want to put it, broke the record for the stolen bases and infamously or famously said, Ricky Henderson is on top of the world. It was the funniest thing ever. But anyway, Ricky Henderson's personality matched his productivity, Hall of Fame career, just a super duper personality in the Bay Area, man. Well loved by not just Oakland A's fans, but baseball fans. Again, a lot of old heads like my dad. A lot of those old heads, Ricky Henderson was their favorite baseball player. One of my favorite baseball players on my favorite team. I'm embarrassed that I didn't say that, but again, I'm super tired from this weekend.
Yeah,
didn't think of it.
It's been a rough week for sports fans, especially.
Yeah, man.
Didn't UConn women lose?
The women lost last night, man. The dudes are getting their crap together, so yeah, man. But
Ricky Henderson, the kids don't understand how good he was. I mean, I think everyone knows all-time stolen base leader. By the way, that record will never be broken.
Hey, he shattered that. It's like Jerry Rice's records. Don't even think about them being broken. Yeah.
1,400 steals. I mean, there's no active player.
Yeah.
Even remotely. It'll just never be broken. But he's also the all-time run scored leader.
Yeah.
Which is now that record might be broken, but I mean that's a pretty incredible record. And of course, he's got an MVP and 2 World Series chips. So. I mean, yeah, Ricky Henderson was like when you played like Bases Loaded or one of those Nintendo games. Like there were certain teams you weren't allowed to pick. Oakland was one of them because they had Jose Canseco and Ricky Henderson. You no, you can't play.
Can't play with them. Yeah.
No, you can't play the Raiders on Tecmo Bowl. Bo Jackson, that was not allowed, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't play the Giants with Lawrence Taylor, not allowed, right? Ricky Henderson was that guy in baseball in the Nintendo era. No, you cannot play with the A's because you're just gonna steal bases all day with Ricky Henderson. That's how good he was. So
man, needless to say, it has probably been it ain't no probably. This has been the absolute worst year to be an Oakland A's fan. Not even close. Not even close. Yep.
I mean, come on, man. You're not gonna follow them to Las Vegas.
I can't do it, man. I'm gonna say this one more time. Hornets fans. A lot of Hornets fans used to blame Michael Jordan when the sun didn't come up. Y'all have no idea what John Fisher is as far as a bad owner. Jesus Christ, man. John Fisher is this dude is super. I'm talking about put on the cape, put on BO on the cape. I'm horrible. I mean, public relations disaster, financial disaster. Anything bad you can think of an owner does nothing in the Oakland community, and nothing. Everything bad you can say about somebody, not just as an owner, as a human being, John Fisher is. This is the last straw, Kaiser. It's been building up for years and years and years and years with me and that guy. I'm done. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, man.
I
can't do it. Yep.
All right. Well, this week of Christmas, I hope you guys are just able to be safe and, spend time with your loved ones or by yourself or just, whatever you need. Holidays are super stressful, I know, for all of us. And we're just going to roll into the new year. And just everyone just be good together. Be safe. And you guys you probably will see us next week, right?
I got that.
Yeah. So I ain't doing jack shit next time.
All right.
So yeah, you'll probably see it. But if you don't, then you guys have a great holiday season, and yeah, Charlotte Sports. Don't let Charlotte Sports get you down.
Yeah. Spend time with your family. Don't think about this crap.
Don't think about it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Y'all be good. Take care of each other. Peace.